Hi everyone, this is Abhinav from PhoneBunch and today we are taking a look at the Lenovo A7000. Now I've been using this phone for quite some time now, for about a month sparingly, and actually performs quite well. You have a 5.5-inch HD IPS display without any protection on top. You have a MediaTek MT6752m octa-core chipset with Cortex-A53 cores, 2 gigs of RAM, a 2900 mAh battery, 8 megapixel rear, and you have a 5 megapixel front facing camera. And another great addition was Dolby Atmos, but we'll talk about how it actually works later on. Coming to the build, you have the volume rocker power button on the right, both metallic, offer good feedback, good tactile response here as well. At the top you have the 3.5 audio jack, micro USB data syncing and charging port. On the left there's nothing. The phone has a flat design quite like the Lenovo A6000, microphone at the bottom there, 8 megapixel camera, dual LED flash there, and you have a secondary noise cancellation mic and the speakerphone right up top. The back has a matte finish, the sides are slightly rounded so the phone feels good to hold in the hand. The back cover in itself does bend and flex a bit, but not when it's on the phone. So there's the micro SD card slot. The first SIM card slot accepts 4G SIM, the second one just 2G. 2900 mAh battery right there. Overall the build is pretty decent, no creaking, no flex anywhere. Coming to the front, you have a 5 megapixel camera up top, notification LED glowing green at the moment, proximity and light sensors up there as well, along with the main earpiece which is pretty loud. You have capacitive buttons just below the display and they don't light up. The leftmost key behaves as the recent apps key or the task switcher. Coming to this display, it has good color reproduction, it's plenty sharp for a 720p panel. The 5.5-inch display definitely is not meant for single-handed use, but it feels pretty alright. The viewing angles are wide, no major distortion in brightness or colors, but there is no Corning Gorilla Glass protection on top, just hardened glass, so a screen guard would definitely be preferable. Now this phone actually does heat up while you are on calls, but apart from that, no major issues with network or call quality. The earpiece and speakerphone were plenty loud. You do have Wi-Fi hotspot, Bluetooth and USB tethering, all working fine. Navigation was a bit slow with GPS, but overall it did locate quite quickly. Now you have a 8 megapixel rear camera on the Lenovo A7000. Videos can be recorded in 1080p. However, the video quality was just about decent. Images turned out quite well. You can play with the aspect ratio, white balance, various scene modes are also available, and you can control ISO, and several other image properties including sharpness can also be controlled. Now there are some effects built in. You can see them directly on the viewfinder. Now this is the image that I just took. Colors actually do appear quite alright. The front facing camera is clear, but sometimes if in low light, there is quite a bit of noise. You have a timer available there, a beauty mode is also available which actually increases noise a little bit. Overall the front facing camera is pretty decent. Now here are some of the image samples. Color reproduction is pretty accurate over here, but the images do tend to look a bit over sharpened. You might not notice that, but here in the edges it's clearly visible. But that's just me nitpicking over here. Overall images look good, they turn out far better than I actually expected. Colors look natural. Now macro shots do need some work. You have to have very stable hands. This camera tends to hunt for focus quite a long time, especially when you are taking in very close shots. Distant shots however turn out quite well. The HDR mode on this phone works really wonders. Have a look at this image. On the left it's without HDR, on the right with HDR, and you can see the difference in images. Yes, the images do look a bit over processed, a bit over sharpened, but you can play with that as well. Overall, this is a very decent camera. You can see these 100% crop images. Overall images look sharp and that's what really matters. Colors are also natural. Quite a lot of noise reduction going on over here. So that over-processed look is definitely there. But then there's low light imaging. The camera doesn't focus well in low light. The flash definitely helps over there. There's quite a lot of noise in low light imaging, and that's generally the case with phones in this price segment. Videos, as I've already said, don't turn out that well. Sometimes they are overexposed. Exposure compensation doesn't work there well. Dynamic range is also not that great while taking videos. But yes, continuous autofocus is still available. Have a listen to the audio.
This is Abhinav from PhoneBunch, and right now we are recording a 1080p video sample.
Overall, the camera performs pretty decent given the Rs 9000 price bracket here. Now, given the Dolby Atmos branding of this smartphone, I thought that you would get a great pair of headset with the device. Sadly, it wasn't so. Moreover, the speakerphone isn't really that loud. It sounds muddy, it sounds tinny, and it gets blocked very easily if you have your phone on a flat surface. You have two equalizers over here. One's the default Android one, and then you have Dolby Atmos, which actually works wonders when you are using a headphone, but not with a speakerphone. But even with the headphones, the volume is really not that loud. FM radio is also supported over here. It works out quite well, finds channels quite quickly, no issues over here. You can record FM radio in stereo quality. 1080p videos play quite well over here. We tried some 4K videos as well, and those two played quite well. You can pop up the video that you are watching, and again, no issues with performance on this device. Streaming video also works fine. We played it over YouTube at 720p. The audio quality was decent enough. No frame rate issues with streaming video as well. Now let's come to the software. So again, all your apps are on the home screen. No separate app drawer. You can organize them into folders. You can add more home screens as well. So overall, it's pretty decent. You have a good collection of themes available this time around, which wasn't on the Lenovo A6000. You can just swipe from the tab to open up the notification shade. Quite a lot of toggles over here. And you are running Android 5.0 Lollipop on this device, which is pretty smooth actually. Now apps and app data both are movable to the external storage. Just select the default write disk as SD card. USB OTG is supported and it works quite fine. I'm playing this video over the USB OTG drive. Plays pretty well. Now there are some features available over here. You have double tap to wake up the display. You can double tap the volume down key to take a quick snap, but it's never in focus. Now with this wide touch mode, so you can quickly open some of the apps. I barely found that useful. Then there's a secure zone, which actually proved to be much more useful. You can go ahead and add a pin to it, select apps that you want there, and they won't be accessible anywhere else. Permission control is also available, another added security feature, so you can check which app uses which permission. Now coming to web browsing, it's actually pretty smooth. Text and images render quickly, web pages remain in line, and there are no compatibility issues, especially on Chrome. Scrolling is pretty smooth on this device, as is pinch to zoom. And even in general use, this phone performs quite well. Yes, Lenovo Vibe UI does need quite a bit of work. The icons do look a bit weird, but apps open up very quickly over here. Animations are pretty slick, no frame drops over here. Everything just works out to be very slick. And you can see still we have more than 400 MB RAM free, so plenty for multitasking. Now I did turn on the power saver mode for GPU and CPU on, and with that I was able to get more than 1 day of heavy usage on the device with the 2900 mAh battery, with great screen on time of more than 3.5 hours. Now this phone performed quite well in gaming too. It played all the games that we threw at it with relative ease, but yes, it did get hot quite quickly, easily crossing 45-degree mark, but it cools down pretty quickly and doesn't heat up in general use apart from when you are on calls. Well folks, that brings us to the conclusion of this review. The display performs well over here. It's better than the Eureka definitely. The cameras are pretty decent over here. The build quality is decent. It's not top notch, but for the price of Rs 9,000, it's quite acceptable. Now if you are hunting for a device within this price bracket, the Lenovo A7000 actually is a very good option, but it does heat up during calls. The Eureka has better cameras, but not as good battery life. The Honor 4X doesn't heat up and has somewhat similar battery life as well. So it should definitely be under consideration. What do you think about the Lenovo A7000? Do hit us in the comment section with your views. Thanks for watching this video. Any questions about this or any other device, do mention those as well. And as always, have a great day.